Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Thursday, the 21st of August. And after a volatile day on the market yesterday in US, there's a little bit more calmness today, it seems. At least the forex market has been fairly calm. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. We'll start with Nasdaq 100 today. And you can see how it dipped to the 786 retracement at 22,950 and then bounced strongly during the session. And if you're looking at the CFD and the future, same picture there, really 786 retracement. So that will be key to watch the next few days. Will it take out the lows from yesterday, or will it do a nice bounce here the next few days? Maybe there's some bargain hunters that came in yesterday and they try to lift it back up again. And looking at the S&P 500, same picture really. So if we add a Fibonacci to that one, I think we'll also hit more or less very close to the 61.8, but not really there. So a little bit difference there, however. So the Dow Jones index, that was basically flat. Didn't do anything, so really some calmness on the old indice there, or the old index. You can see here there is the US 500 CFD that bounced from the 50% and not down to the 61.8 or even the 786. So it fared a little bit better than a Nasdaq that of course was hit by other big names like Microsoft and Apple and a few others, few other names. In the Asian session, well, hovering around this kind of a pivot point. It opened above 25,177, but then closed back below, and the previous day it also closed just below. So we are still a little bit under pressure here, and I think if we can close above, then uptrend will resume. We're still above the rising trend line there, so I think we could resume uptrend. The Nikkei testing the minor support there at 42,520. If it breaks below, then we could see a sell-off down to possibly around 41,300 area. On the European markets, EuroStoxx50 did the other day here close above the resistance there at 5,467. Now it's hovering around. Can again really take off? Will it take off or not? Setting back a little bit, but we are in a positive sentiment, so it actually indicates we could push higher towards 5,520, possibly 5,600 area. But it seems quite fragile at the moment, so be careful. But I think if it takes out the peak from yesterday, then I think we'll push higher. And here we have the CFDs just hovering around. Let's adjust this a little bit, just hovering around this resistance level there. And DAX, well, still below 24,445. Kissing this trend line here that is declining. RSI still negative sentiment, so it needs to close above 60 threshold to really confirm a bullish trend. The GR40 CFD setting back a little bit. In the forex market, as mentioned, has been fairly quiet, where we saw some volatility on most of the US markets, but fairly quiet. Your dollar still above the rising 55 moving average, still negative sentiment. Really needs to take out these spike ups here. So 117 still key level. I think it will do it eventually, but it's just a question about when. So be careful. If it takes out 115, 80, 85. I know it says 89 here, but I'll subtract a little bit. Then I think we could see a correction lower. And if that scenario plays out, what you should do, I suggest you do, is you add Fibonacci to this and say, okay, maybe it could drop down to the 61.8 at 115.20. Sterling dollar sliding lower, just around the 38.2 retracement of 134.20. I think it will test that, but then we have the 100 moving average coming up, give it a little bit of support, and then we could bounce from there. But the 55 moving average here, that is slightly declining, is weighing on it a little bit, so it could actually drop further or drop lower. Euro sterling bouncing. I had very volatile yesterday, given the inflation the numbers that came out. It seems like I couldn't really figure out how to take it, but it seems like the euro sterling is crawling higher in its bounce, and I think it actually will push higher towards 87 and possibly higher here in the coming days and weeks. So it's still key support down here at 86. Dollar yen, still this range bound here between those two levels, which I'm talking about so often, 148 and a half, and this rising trend line down there. So really not much to say about that, or not news at least. More or less the same picture on euro yen, 173 to the upside and 171 to the downside, just a little bit lower. Breakout direction will tell the direction, and 169.70 support down here could be tested if it doesn't break above the 173. Aussie yen has broken below, and that's why I can remove this one. You see it got rejected at 786 retracement, so it's broken below the support there. So that means we now have a lower low, lower high, lower low now. So we have a bearish trend. We also have RSI below the 40 threshold, suggesting or supporting, actually confirming bearish trend. I think we could see it sliding lower in the coming days. If it also closes below the cloud level there, well, that could be the next move down to around 93. The sterling yen, well, also lower, and I think we could see it push lower. The 55 moving average seems to be giving some resistance, so if it takes out the lows from yesterday, then I think we'll see the 61.8 retracement, 197 being reached. So it has really struggled around the 200 level. Couldn't really get away from it. Spiked above a couple of times, but then there seems to be hitting by selling pressure when that occurred. Aussie dollar testing support here at 64.20. I think it will push lower. We have RSI closing below the 40 threshold, meaning we are now in a bearish or negative sentiment, and I think we could see it down to around the 63.60, where we have some support down here, 63.60, 63.50. 200 moving average will give some support, but I think we could see it down in this region here fairly shortly. The dollar Canada, let's just adjust that. Still flirting with the resistance and the peak there. If it can't really take off towards the 139.40, it is in the cards, and it should do it, and I think it will do it eventually. We have the 55 moving average coming around there, so I think we'll see a push up to around 139.40, possibly higher. There is room, if it can get away from this area here, there is room up to around 140. Sterling Canada, well, sterling Canada is still sideways. I actually did expect a bit of correction down to the 185.50 area, the 38.2 retracement. But let's see, it can still play out. But if it takes out the peak here, then we're looking at levels higher than 188 and more. Euro Swiss set back 50% and then bounced to just above the 55 moving average. So let's see if it will crawl higher here back again towards the 94.50, or if it takes out this level, the lows here, then we could see it back to below 93.50, possibly lower. I will move this one, it's a little bit disturbing. So that's the picture on the Euro Swiss at the moment. Dollar Swiss, so let's zoom in here. Still forming this triangle-like pattern here, very short-term, a corrective pattern. Let's see if it's a reversal pattern or it's a continuation pattern. I think it will be a continuation pattern if it takes out 81, and then I think we could see a push up towards the peaks up here and possibly higher towards 82.50. If it takes out 80 down here, well, then downtrend is resuming. The dollar index, more or less the same picture, really sideways trading here. It needs to get it back above 98.50 to establish a bullish trend, below 97.45 to resume bearish, with likely to take out the lows here to follow. On the metals markets and the golds, well, it bounced from the 100 moving average, so it seems like this Fibonacci thing here wasn't really playing out. It was more or less in the middle of it, but 3,358 and a bit, so let's say 3,360, just add a little. If we get back above there, then I think uptrend will resume with a push up to 3,400. If it's getting back above 3,410, then there's room up to 3,500. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, then we could see a sell-off down to the bottom of the cloud here, possibly down to 3,268. Silver, massive spike lower yesterday, and then it bounced to move back above the 37.50. Quite interesting move, actually. So it was really hard to read it, but I think if we get back above 38.30, then we'll see uptrend resuming, and will be confirmed if it moves back above 38.75. If it takes out the lows from yesterday, well, then we could see silver down here towards 36. The platinum, well, massive range here, dipped lower to the 786 retracement of this little bounce there, and then it bounced itself. If it can get back above, it needs to get back about 1373 for a push higher above 1400. And copper is just boring at the moment, to be honest. It's just trading sideways after this massive drop off there. 433, 465 is the range that really needs to take out. On the energy side, it seems like we are going to have a bounce. We talked about it could have a bounce, and it didn't take out the lows here. If it does take out the lows here at 61.94 here on the WTI, well, then we're looking at 60 level. But I think we will have a bounce up to around the 65.20 area, where we had the 38.2 retracement of this. I think we could see that, but then we have the 100 moving average trying to push it or keeping it down, and it tells you the underlying medium-term sentiment and trend is bearish. Brent crude oil, it keeps also bouncing. I think we'll reach 68.30, maybe even up to 69.30. European nat gas are also bouncing, so what I will do, I'll also add Fibonacci to this, and this is how you can work with it. Seems like we have a bottom and reversal like pattern down here. We already reached a 38.2 retracement at 32.35. I think we would see a push up to the 61.8 here at 33.60, maybe just below the falling trend line there. US nat gas, is it getting a solid ground here? Could also bounce. Let's see about that. A couple of days now with dojis where market hasn't really moved here, just around 275, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a bounce also maybe towards the $3. If we get there is highly debatable though. Moving on to the yields market, the interest rates, and US 10-year, well, after being rejected at 435, it has been set back, and it's still this range 420, 435, and the key resistance there at 440. On the European yields, well, they are bouncing a little bit this morning. We are still in a bullish trend, higher highs and higher lows, and I think we will crawl higher towards 280 slowly over here the next few weeks, but it's not moving that fast, and we maybe should be happy for that. The UK 10-year being rejected there at 477, just below just a few pips from the 138.2 retracement or projection, sorry, of this. And now we have a bit of a correction. So what you can also do here is say, okay, we have had a trend, and how much will it push back? Then we can add the 38.2 retracement and the 786 to it, and see where did we go to. We almost get down to the 38.2, but we didn't really get there, so maybe it's not playing out, but let's see. But here, bouncing today, I still think we will see it moving higher in the coming days and week. Positive sentiment on the other side. We are in a bullish trend. I think there's room up to around 480. On Bitcoin, 112,000 did hold for this for now. So let's see if it can keep holding, bouncing here, and if it starts and if it does get back above the 117,000 level, then I think we could see uptrend resuming, or at least maybe a bounce further towards previous all-time highs. Ethereum got hit by hard selling, has retraced 50% of this uptrend here and has bounced, and maybe it could resume uptrend. So it is a given that you, if you were long, it's not a recommendation, but just to give an example, if you're long, if it takes out these lows here for the past 24 hours, 48 hours, then we could see a sell-off lower towards 3,900, 3,660 maybe. All right, that's all for today. Have a nice day and talk to you again later.